And at 10, the puppet, FNAF VR. I said that the puppet from FNAF VR was one of the scariest jump scares, but only because of the way the puppet walks, okay? It's honestly terrifying, at least that part. But aside from that, the actual jump scare itself isn't all that scary. The puppet just shakes his head across the screen, or I guess your eyes. The puppet is probably the least scary animatronic. It just has a couple lines down its face, okay? The scarier ones like the nightmare animatronics have some substance behind them, and that's pretty scary. The teeth are one of those things. However, the only thing scary about the puppet jump scare is the audio. The jump scare is only effective because of the audio, if it ends up being effective at all. Especially if you know it's coming, okay? Because you can like see the puppet walking down, and if you see the puppet... In a 9, Springtrap, FNAF 3. Springtrap isn't a scary character. Sure, the story behind him is scary and it's a very unsettling story, but the actual jump scare isn't much to be feared. While the rest of the jump scares from FNAF 3, particularly the Phantom animatronics, can be scary unless you know what to look for, the Springtrap animation is really just simple, and honestly, it doesn't really look like he's coming to kill you. In fact, it looks so unintimidating I saw theories going around that Springtrap was trying to help you because of how he approaches you in FNAF 3. Just does that thing, okay? Again, just the audio. He moves his head a little bit, but that's why I never put him on any of the scariest animatronics list until Amanda took over and then totally went against everything I stood for. He's not an animatronic, okay? Oh, so you're saying he was living in the wall for 30 years? I'm sorry, in a series full of dead children possessing animatronics through the use of agony and intense emotion, you think that's far-fetched? MapPad himself said the Springtrap doesn't die. The thing about this jump scare is that I'm sure will make you jump at least a little bit thanks to the sound effect, but the sound effect is the one used for every other jump scare in the game. The Phantoms and Springtrap make the same noise, which could be used as theory fodder if you're really looking for something. MapPad, I'm looking at you. But no matter what you say, I've never been scared by Springtrap, okay? The jump scare hasn't gotten me. I'm just like, oh, okay, it's Springtrap. In at 8, Foxy, FNAF 1. The Foxy jump scare from the first FNAF game may catch you off guard, but it won't really jump scare you. Similar to the Springtrap case, the animation of Foxy just popping in and waving actually sparks theories that Foxy was trying to help you, and even a couple creepypastas that use that same premise. Actually, if you didn't know, yes, there are 5 Nights at Freddy's creepypastas, okay? We've made videos about them. They don't make sense, but you should go check it out. In fact, the first one made it onto r/FNAF cringe, and in fact, it's one of my prouder moments. And if you want a whole FNAF playlist, you can go check it out right in the top right corner. Top left? It depends. My right, your left. We have like nearly 80 FNAF videos, so you won't be lacking any content, that's for sure. We've legit made more FNAF videos than Game Theory, so you'll be set for FNAF for a little bit, at the very least. It's like 12 hours of FNAF content, okay, so go check it out. But as for Foxy, he's literally the least intimidating out of the original 5 animatronics. Like, even Golden Freddy is more intimidating, and he slouches more than me when I play games. Sorry, but it's true. I know all you Foxy stans are gonna come for you, but he ain't scary. Okay, Grim Foxy is scary. He isn't. And at 7, Biddy Bass. The Biddy Bass from Sister Location are like baby's little siblings. I can't say kids because, well, she's possessed by a kid, so it feels weird, but they're basically mini versions of her, except without any red cheeks or hair. And you wanna know one thing that I don't find scary? Babies. Babies aren't scary. I mean, sure, they'll bite your face off like an adult in a bath salt-filled rage. They aren't actually that scary. Same goes for the animatronics. Sure, they may get you the first time, but every other time, they just seem kinda cute. I don't know, something about chubby babies that I'm not gonna have to buy anything for are just, they're so cute. But like, if I have to pay for them because they're mine, then suddenly they become less cute. I hardly have enough money for myself. And yes, I'm calling out all the parents right now who have babies, okay? Unless you pay me, in which case you're doing great, you're wonderful parents. Please don't fire me, Liam or Landon. And at 6, Night Terror Door, FNAF VR. The Night Terror mini-games from FNAF VR is basically the game including FNAF 4, but not making it as annoying as FNAF 4 would actually be in VR. Since you need to run across the room, and doing so wouldn't be as fast in VR as in the actual game, but the whole game revolves around one of the animatronics being one of the sides of the room, you know, because you can't like go back and forth, and you know, you get what I mean. But honestly, I've never seen a kid's room have 2 doors unless it was like a mansion or some crap. Like honestly, who would let their kid have the room with 2 doors? I don't know. I get excited when I see a bathroom with 2 doors. It's annoying, but it's cool. However, the real jump scare comes if you are on the side of the animatronic. If you're not, you can actually see them walk in through the door. The other one that you're not holding closed, that one. Well, this is pretty spooky considering how the light starts flickering and the way they enter is kind of weird. But after that, you know that you're done for. You can't open the door and run, even though you should be able to. You can't, okay? You just have to stand there, wait for your eventual demise. And you know you're gonna get jump scared. Aside from the initial surprise of them walking in, nothing after that is exceptionally scary. I mean, it's cool to see them walk in. Honestly, I find it really cool, but after that, it's all just the same thing in a different way. It's gotten old at this point. I can feel the hate radiating from the comments section. It's like a fire burning beneath my feet. Or maybe it's just that my apartment's 30 degrees. Halfway through into number 5, minigames. FNAF 2's minigames were some of the most confusing but helpful parts of the FNAF 2 story. Little between night minigames that would help break up the stress of those nights. However, they would still get you with the jump scare related to the character in that minigame when the minigame ended, thus leaving us petrified. However, after that, we instantly knew what to expect and when to expect it, leaving the jump scare to shake us at most, solely due to the noise that plays along with the character jumping at you, which is unfortunate, but desensitization at its finest. It's in its purest form. And 4 minigames, FNAF 2. The minigames in FNAF 2 always end in a jump scare. The first time it can be scary if you don't know about them, but anytime after that you know it's there. As soon as the purple guy starts pulling away, you know that the puppet will jump scare you. And as soon as you give life to the final animatronic, you know that Golden Freddy's gonna pop up and go boo. Okay, it's fairly routine at this point, and we know that it's coming. So it's not really a scare anymore. It's just a minor inconvenience that ends the minigame and throws us back into the hell that is trying to deal with FNAF 2. It's not that it's a bad game. There's just a lot going on and it's fairly complicated. And at 3, Mini-Rena. Oh no, a little doll jumped onto my face. Whatever am I going to do? Take it off. That's it. The jump scare doesn't even end your game. It's just slightly inconveniences you. Honestly, it may even help you if you're playing the Sister Location VR fan recreation that Eddie VR has been playing on his channel. It got to a point where he actually holds onto the Mini-Rena to help make himself feel better, especially when Baby is coming in for a jump scare. He's gotten so used to it that even when stressed, it doesn't really seem to affect him. That's desensitization right there. Plus, the Mini-Renas aren't scary, only if they want to climb inside you. Not a euphemism, that literally happens in a Fazbear Frights book. Maybe that's why they're on your face. They want you to swallow them. And like, I'm not here to kink shame, but that's kinda sus. And at 2, Ultimate Custom Night. Okay, I know Ultimate Custom Night is some people's favorite FNAF game, and some of the jump scares are good, like Fredbear for example. However, most of the jump scares, like Nightmare Balloon Boy and such, are just static images that shake around the screen. Sure, the noise is scary, but when it's accompanied by a shaking image, I don't really start to shake in my boots. A static image can be creepy, but even shaking, they won't really scare me, even if the image itself is scary. It's an opinion shared by a lot of people from what I can tell on subreddit threads discussing users' favorite and least favorite jump scares. Some people love Ultimate Custom Night and the scares, which is fine, and a couple of them are good. But with a game that has so many characters, it's easy to understand why it would be difficult to animate every single jump scare well. But still, not that scary. I say that, but I'm not playing it. Finally, in number 1, expected scares. I've been saying it throughout the whole list, but jump scares you expect aren't scary. For example, I was playing the Foxy Pirate Ride game when I went into the backroom helpy section where Chica was standing on the track and you need to hit a target to make her go back inside. However, I missed the target and watched as Chica was walking towards me before I got jump scared. Now, I hadn't been scared by Jacko Chica yet, so it was scary that time, but now if it ever happens again, it's not gonna scare me because, well, you literally watch her walk towards you. And the screen goes black for a split second before actually scaring you. If you expect it, it's not scary. Half of what makes us afraid is the unknown. It's what we don't know that scares us. Like, for example, if I don't know you and you come running up to me at night, I'm gonna run the hell away because someone is charging at me at night with a knife. Well, I don't know, but you probably have a knife. It's the unknown that scares us. It's why I hate the plush trap jump scare from the box, okay? Because you don't see it coming. Also, in that FNAF gameplay video, that actually jumps, like I did get the plush trap jump scare from the box, but my audio was so terrible because like everything had screwed up at that point that I couldn't use that clip. I wanted to include it in the video because like of course it happened, right? But I couldn't because the audio was god awful. It sounded like there were 12 of me and they all had like variations of just how like the voice was messed up, okay? Just Yeah, I'm mad about it.
And at 10, Phantoms. The Phantom animatronics from FNAF 3 are the scariest thing in that game, aside from the backstory. The design of the animatronics may be simple, but the idea that the jump scare doesn't end your game and in fact makes you panic instead is genius. However, with that being said, eventually you'll figure out when these are going to appear. For example, you check the camera and see that Phantom Foxy is blocking it. The minute you close the camera, you're gonna get jump scared, and something will malfunction. So once you know the signs, the jump scares won't actually be able to get you, and well, once they stop getting you, you won't really be scared by this game anymore, and I'll get to that point later on. But at least the Phantoms add some unpredictability into the game, but like only in the form of you don't know when they're gonna show up. Well, I mean, like, you know when they're gonna jump scare you, but you don't know when they're going to show up to jump scare you, you know? No strategy will ever be foolproof because of this. Not unpredictability in the scares, because you can guess those, but unpredictability in when those scares will, like, be able to show up. And at 9, Scrapped. The scrapped animatronic jump scares could be surprising if you're just chilling in your office playing Fruity Maze. However, when interviewing or testing them when you first find them, the scariest thing is the sound. After that, you're okay, because all they do is just stand up a little bit. Like when you don't get the loan you wanted at the bank, and then you start standing up because you're thinking, how could they do this to me? Or I guess like how characters in movies or TV do that, because I'm guessing most of the people watching this haven't tried and failed to get a loan from the bank, because you're all probably like 13, not 12, Copa, not 12. But like, let's be honest, all they really do is just stand up from behind the desk. That's it, nothing more. Like, they just move a tiny little bit, and then like they're not like suddenly in your face, you know? They're not slashing your throat. They just say, hey, I'm functional, which is kind of lame. But like, if they get into your office, it's a different story. And it ain't Puppet. The puppet, while having a spooky backstory, isn't the scariest looking animatronic. The character is just a tall puppet that doesn't really have much else going for it. It's just a tall, lanky bean, like me. But this jump scare is also predictable if you're paying attention to the music box. And this is especially the case in FNAF VR, since you can see the puppet walking down the hallway. The first time in this entire series where we see the character walking with their feet touching the floor. We can see Nightmare on the ground in FNAF 4, but not the puppet, only a fearful reflection. And we never see the character's feet. Yeah, I just figured that it was floating around, which I mean like would make sense, because honestly the puppet skips leg day more than me, and I only work out when the Ninja Warrior training course is open. But seriously, the puppet is the least scary animatronic, and that's on a list that includes less scary characters. Some are even meant to help you, or at least test your ball pit.
And at 7, Lights Out, FNAF 1. I said earlier that some of the worst jump scares are when you know that they're coming, because you can prepare yourself, especially when the screen gets dark beforehand. That's why Freddy from FNAF 1, when your power goes out, is on this list. Okay? When you hit 0% power, the only thing you can really do is just hope that you were close enough to 6 AM to get the win. This managed to happen to me on the first ever FNAF gameplay video we did on the channel, but it was in FNAF VR. I'll let you in on a little secret, okay? I had my eyes closed the whole time when the screen went black, because I knew it was coming, okay? However, as I just said, I knew the jump scare was coming, even if I am just a little bit. As soon as the screen goes black, the jump scare can pop up at any second. Sure, there's some variation and you may need to be waiting for a little bit, but you still know that it's coming and you can close the game before it happens. There isn't any fear associated with that. I know I was scared, so I closed my eyes, but that's just because of the anticipation. And I'm a little crybaby when it comes to VR horror, okay? It's not fun. Notice why I haven't played the game since then? Oh wait, actually at this point, we did have another FNAF video come out before this one, didn't we? Oh well, there goes that point. Either way, Freddy isn't scary when you know he's coming.
And at 6, Balloon Boy. Balloon Boy isn't a scary animatronic. The dude just looks like an illicit substance dealer with a grudge against the man. Well, like, what's Balloon Boy's deal, anyway? Like, he just messes with the lights? Okay, so what? The poltergeist in my apartment does the same thing when I'm sleeping. Why would I care about a little dude running around carrying a bunch of balloons like he just discovered that helium can change your voice? Like, get a life, Balloon Boy, and get out of my office. Don't make me call your mother. Halfway through into number 5, Ennard. Ennard is a creepy animatronic, but one thing that is certainly creepy but not scary is the jump scare from the Ennard vent repair when you think that you've defeated him but he's actually still alive. Now, don't get me wrong, that is terrifying the first time, but after you know that it's coming, it then loses its effect, even in blacklight mode, unless you've forgotten about it through the intensity that is the puzzles, which is understandable, but when you get to remember it, it doesn't get you nearly as much as the first time. And whereas jump scares when you're playing the main game can get you every time, since you never really know when they're coming, set jump scares like this in a story sense don't really have the same effect, which is unfortunate. It's just how humans work though. Most of the actual scary part of the thing we call being scared is the fear of the unknown. Every human has it. That's why if we see shadows that we don't know the origins of, we get nervous, or if something random is on the road in the middle of the night that we can't see, we get scared. It's just human nature. It's why we're looking for answers to the universe, but not searching our oceans for some reason. And for Helpy. Helpy from Ultimate Custom Night is one of those animatronics that's just a static image being shaken around when they jump scare, which isn't really that scary to begin with. Throw in that Helpy is probably the most adorable of the friendly looking animatronics, and his jump scare doesn't even work in the game. It doesn't make things worse either. He doesn't activate Music Man and he doesn't kill you. He just wanted to say hi. His jump scare noises, even the MLG horn sound, just sped up a little bit. Helpy is literally cheering you on while you're playing through one of the most stressful games in existence. What everyone thought Foxy was trying to do in the original FNAF game, Helpy is doing. He's actually doing it. He's just being a bro and giving you the love and support we all need and should be getting. Whether it's from our bros, gals, or significant bro or gal, or any loved one in my life needs to hype me up as much as Helpy, or it ain't worth it at this point. That's my standard. The bar has been raised.
In at 3, Corn Maze Foxy. Okay, I've said it before and I'll say it again. The scariest part of the corn maze is the damn crow clusters on the ground that will scare the hell out of you and alert Foxy as to where you are when you step on them in the corn maze minigame from FNAF VR's DLC, The Curse of Dreadbear. Honestly, I've seen a lot of YouTubers and streamers get used to the Foxy jump scare after a few times, like MatPat, who just started finding it as annoying as he was trying to get all the keys in the live streams. But now you may be saying, but Connor, you were scared when you were playing it in the last FNAF gameplay video. He ran through the fence, okay? He shouldn't have been able to do that. I should have had at least a couple seconds. But I hadn't played that game in months, okay? I stopped being used to the fear of existential dread. And however, by the end of it, I was fairly used to things again. So the challenge got fairly easy. Well, I mean, not really, because I kind of lost and gave up. But, unless he cheats and just pretends not to notice you, or again, runs through the frickin' fence, okay? Stop using game bugs to your advantage, Foxy. It's a real move.
And it too, Grim Foxy. I've said it before and I'll say it again. The glory of the actual scare from an animatronic comes from the surprise factor. The fact that you didn't know it was coming, or you had some form of build-up beforehand. Grim Foxy in the Corn Maze minigame from Dreadbear DLC is quite possibly the most anticipated and expected jump scare out of every single game and animatronic in the series. You literally get notified by in-game sounds when he notices you, and then you have a decent amount of time to hide before he actually catches up. He's actually fairly slow. You have so much time that I was able to recite whole vines in a live stream we did when before he actually caught up to me. And don't get me wrong, when he got me I was scared, but that's thanks to my coworkers putting me on edge because they were trying to break into the office and jump scare me, which I ended up catching because they thought I wouldn't have locked the door to the studio. If you're playing a scary game, you lock the damn door. If you have time to prepare for the scare though, it's not scary. If I was playing that at any other point and they hadn't tried to break into the office and grab my foot, then I would have been fine. I'm sorry I swore, but I'm still upset about that. I can't believe they were gonna grab my foot. That's so rude. Finally, in at number 1, Springtrap. I understand that most of you find Springtrap to be a scary character, and that's understandable. His backstory is creepy, he's the killer of the series, and he was alive in the suit after plenty of metal was shoved in him at the speed of spring locks. So you'd figure his jump scare would be the scariest, right? Well, while the noise that plays may be scary, Springtrap himself does little but move in a zigzag while slowly coming at the player. Come on, man, you're a killer. I understand, you're in your murder suit and you're calm and collected, but dude, this could have been the scariest game in the series if Springtrap wasn't just chilling. It was so bad and fans were so disappointed that Scott ended up extending the series that was meant to be the final game. FNAF 3 was supposed to be the final game, but people hated the Springtrap jump scare so much because it wasn't scary enough, so he made FNAF 4, and he made the Nightmare animatronics. But something that bad deserves to be number 1. and a 10 open door. FNAF VR doesn't feature a full FNAF 4 game. However, the dark room section does feature a couple levels in the FNAF 4 house. These levels have a special scene that plays when one of the animatronics gets into your room on the opposite side that you're on, where instead of instantly scaring you, they actually open the door and walk in. Now, don't get me wrong, the animatronics when they enter your room are horrific. They're towering over you and there is no way to stop them once they come in. But after the initial horror is over and you've watched them walk in, the jump scare isn't that bad, because at that point you expect it. You know what's gonna happen. It's certainly a shock when you first see them, but once your brain has processed it, you're okay. Even if it's Nightmare Fredbear, and that says a lot. Night Terrors. It's called Night Terrors. That's the one. Not Dark Rooms, Night Terrors. There we go. And a 9 Yendo. What's scarier? An animatronic with a scary visual design, or an endoskeleton that has nothing else going on? Most of you are probably going to say a full animatronic unless you're intentionally saying what you think will contradict my point. But Yendo is simply a naked Funtime Freddy. Some think that it's golden Funtime Freddy, but let's be honest here. For the purposes of a jump scare, they're just naked Funtime Freddy. And the Funtime Freddy jump scare is scary because his face can open. The opening of one's face is not natural and is therefore creepy. But this guy isn't opening his face. He can't. It's basically already open. And it's not like it's flesh and blood. It's metal robotic parts. Plus, you can get this jump scare when you're expecting Funtime Foxy, so the confusion will have to overtake the fear. It definitely will. Quickly, in fact. Plus, I just don't find Yendo or Endo scary. I don't. They don't do anything. And it ain't Foxy. The FNAF VR Parts and Service minigame series takes you through repairing each of the original 4 animatronics. Bonnie, Chica, Freddy, Foxy, in that order to be exact. And when it comes to the jump scares, most of them are unexpected, since it just cuts to black and then boom! But with Foxy, they tried something different. Since he's the last one, they mixed it up. And if you fail, the screen fades to black and then comes back with Foxy missing from his spot. You wait for a few seconds and then Foxy runs at you. But they ruined this moment of confusion by having Foxy run at you. If you look any of the 4 directions, you'll see him running too. So it's not like if you turn around to look for him, you won't be able to see him. And like I've been saying, anything that you can expect loses its effect. It may get you the first time, but once you know the pattern, you're good. Like Pixels. You remember that great movie? You just gotta know the patterns. That's why I'm not scared to do the Foxy Parts and Service, but to get there I have to do the scary stuff, and I don't want to do that. I'm man enough to admit when I'm scared. And it's 7 Jacko Chica. Jacko Chica is a scary animatronic, being introduced in the FNAF 4 Halloween update and later making its way into the Help Wanted DLC. I always want to avoid this animatronic, however in the Pirate Ride minigame it may be impossible. In the second Helpy section that's revealed, the one at the end of the level, you get taken through the back rooms, one of which appears to be the kitchen where Chica is standing outside. To get her to move inside, you need to hit a scrolling red button that's going past. You know, it's like on like a conveyor belt like thing, just being dragged. You need to hit that red button to get her to go back in. If you miss, however, she will run at you. This jump scare is easy because you see it coming. You literally watch her chicken feet slap the floor as she sprints full force, coming at you like you're a freshly cooked pizza pie. But you still see her coming, so you know when the scare is coming too. And it's 6 Special Delivery. I've said it before and I'll say it again. The jump scares in Special Delivery aren't scary. The designs of the animatronics are, and if they were real, I'd be crapping myself on a regular basis, especially the final 2 in the top 10 scariest Special Delivery animatronics video. You should go check that out if you haven't already. But the actual jump scares themselves aren't scary. Why do I think that, you ask? Well, because they're on my phone screen. They're small and you're watching them come at you, at least for the most part. Like, the animatronics are normally scary because they have power over you. And on a phone, you don't really feel that same sense of powerlessness because, well, you can see that they aren't actually there. You can only see them on a small screen. And your focus can cut from that screen at any moment. You can say the same about the other games, sure, but when it's a monitor that you're actively looking around on, you tend not to get distracted because it's not like they're actually there. The same thing applies to the jump scares on mobile versions, but again, the whole point of FNAF AR is that they're in your house, but they aren't and you can clearly see that, thus losing the immersion and thus the scare factor. If FNAF AR gets a VR port though, it will definitely be a different story. That would be cool, but it would require Oculus and other VR headset companies to not have black and white only cameras on the headset, because like they just use those to track your movement. But if they had like color cameras that were actually decent quality, it would be expensive, but holy crap would that be insane.
Halfway through at number 5, Special Delivery. This one is fairly plain and simple. Special Delivery only jump scares you on your phone. Sure, it's still a jump scare, but it's on such a small screen that it doesn't really make a dent in my sanity, and you also have to watch them walk towards you the whole time. At least, I think. I haven't really played the game. Mostly because my apartment is a mess and I don't want to showcase that in a video, but you know, it's a long story. The animatronics are so tiny that it's fine. The concept of scale is really important when it comes to horror games. That's why a lot of bosses we fight are so huge. It's to make our character feel way outmatched. It's why your original height in FNAF VR makes you so tiny. Oh, I always adjust my height, otherwise I get kinda sick because, like, you know, scale and stuff. But when I set myself to a normal height, the fear goes away because, well, I'm roughly at the same height as the animatronics. Sure, they're still taller, but it's not like they could hide me in their stomach. They'd have to use at least all of their torso, okay? Then that's more comforting, which is weird, but also makes sense. How is this my job?
And 4, Freddy. The only way I've lost in FNAF 1 is because I've run out of power. I like to play cautiously. It's like the opposite of I like to live dangerously. Just caution. Caution! However, the characters never jump scare me without me running out of power, and that makes things incredibly predictable. So when I hear the March of the Toreador start playing, I know it's coming. It's not really scary when you run out of power because there's so much buildup. It's again, expected, and that ruins the scare. Just like how if you know when the jump scare in a movie is gonna happen, they don't scare you. It may startle you, but nothing more. It's the same thing here. In VR though, it's a different story. And in 3, Mangle. Mangle's jump scare from Ultimate Custom Night is sad in my opinion. It feels like I didn't get my money's worth out of the FNAF game and it's really just a fan game instead. Why? Because it's just a static picture that's being shaken around on screen. And I'm pretty sure the same thing goes for Nightmare Mangle too. Just a PNG that gets shaken around a little bit. Come on. That's like me when I was a baby. There's not much other than a noise, and while the noise may scare you a little bit, you usually need the visual to help enhance the effect, but the shaking picture ain't gonna do it. Honestly, a load of Ultimate Custom Night jump scares are like this, as you've been able to tell, and like I have a few of them on this list. And it's unfortunate, but I understand not wanting to animate like 50 different animatronics, like that would suck big time, but I mean, like, you also did it for help wanted, but you also had a bigger studio behind you. Give and take. But ultimately, in at number 2, Red Freddy. There is one mysterious jump scare from FNAF VR that confused the masses when first found. And a lot of you might not know this. It depends on how plugged you are into the FNAF VR world. A version of what seemingly is Freddy, where you can only see a glowing red outline of his nose and teeth. Or eyes, I'm not sure. It's weird and we don't understand why it's there, but out of all the jump scares on this level, it might be the least scary. You can find this in the Pizza Party minigame of FNAF VR, the last level that you unlock after finishing all the other minigames, but it's still not scary. You can't really see anything but red outlines and you're just left confused. And sometimes feeling a little dirty, but that's okay. We love you anyway, you crazy freak, you. Don't worry, I'm clinically insane as well, so we're in this together. Finally, in at number 1, Foxy. There's a reason everybody thought that Foxy was a good guy, because his jump scare isn't really a jump scare, at least in FNAF 1. The scariest thing about it is the noise. Other than that, this guy just kind of leans into the doorway and then the game goes back to the menu. It's pretty lame if I'm honest, but at least it gave us some variety. But this scare is so not scary that people legit thought Foxy was a good guy. That's almost as bad as being so bad that Scott had to make another game to scare you, like Springtrap in the last list. That's why this is number 1, but it also is just kind of boring. This scare is vanilla, it's basic. It's the white girl with her pumpkin spice and Ugg boots in the fall taking pictures in a pile of leaves with #blessed as the caption basic. Yeah, that's right, I'm calling you out. You are as basic as the Foxy jump scare, if that's you. You're welcome. Foxy's been on this list so many times. Why is Foxy just not scary? I don't get it.